What is up, everybody? Jude Allume with you, back again. You can already feel much different energy, much better place today than the last episode. Last night, Knicks won, blowout fashion, 99-79. Game 3 at the Garden. It was rocking. Bing bong. You can feel the difference already, the positivity. I'm smiling. I'm not upset. I don't want to yell. It's a beautiful day. Knicks, what a way to respond after the disgusting game they played the other night in Cleveland where they got blowout. It's a hell of a response. I love it. 99-79, a 20-point win. It looked, as the score would make it seem, like they took care of business. I I hate that I always have to find something wrong, and there's plenty of wrong that I can mention, but for me it's just a matter of why do we have to wait until after they get their butts kicked for them to put on a defensive performance like they did last night? I mean, what great defense. Like, holding the Cavaliers to 79 points in general. That first half defense was unbelievable. Way to go, Knicks D. Way to go, Thibodeau. Way to make those adjustments and come up basically a completely different team. I am here for it. But before I go any further into all of that, I gotta start off giving the flowers to RJ. Don't get me wrong. I'm not about to sit here and, change my whole tune about RJ because of one good game. I'm gonna need some consistency. I need to see this RJ every night. But again, I have to give him his props. Hasn't been giving us much in those first two games. And honestly, just like I've been saying, the X factor in last night's game. Yes, it was a blowout. Yes, all the Knicks took care of business, but it was started, I guess you can say, by what RJ was doing. Not just in terms of scoring. It seems like a pretty modest night with 19 points. But man, was it an efficient 19 points. What he was doing as far as passing the ball and finding the open man when he was driving and dishing. Driving and dishing. I just want to repeat those words because he was on Chuck mode a little bit, the last two games. But this game, driving and dishing, finding the open man and converting those open looks into points. Oh, RJ, wow, love it. Pause. But yeah, love it. I can't believe it. There was even a drive. He chucked it again on the fast break drive that I'm talking about. But he made the bucket. What a night. Let's talk about RJ from three. I feel like I'm going to be partly responsible. I was saying, stop shooting at three. Don't do it anymore. I'm going to just go ahead and tell myself that he saw that. He was like, challenge accepted. 3 for 6 from three on the night. Great job. Complete turnaround. I mean, it's like night and day. Those first two games as opposed to last night by itself. We got 3 of 6 from three last night. 8 of 12 from the field, right? 19 points. Again, not a lot of points, but it was an efficient 19 points. And you add on what he did as far as rebounding and being, an efficient passer, whatever amount of assists he ended up with. Great game from RJ. The first two games combined, my man had 21 points, 6 of 25 from the field, 1 of 8 from three. So now you'll understand why I was saying stop shooting at three, because it wasn't working for him. But to be quite frank, nothing was working for him those first two games in the series. And then yesterday he comes out, turns it all around. I hope this is like hey, I'm getting hot now, I'm getting started. And he comes back next game, same energy, because man, again, X factor in that win last night. Knicks weren't doing so well to start the game off. Both teams were very much defensively intense and, limiting the other team from scoring in that first quarter. And then RJ gets hot, and then all of a sudden the Knicks get hot. Brunson turns it on in that second half, and, we put this thing away, and we just looked like a much better team thanks to RJ. Gotta give that man his flowers, because I give him a lot. I talk a lot of stuff about RJ, not because I don't like him, but because I know he's capable of better. And this is the better that I was looking forward to and hoping that I would see in this series. RJ, you did the thing. But let's go on ahead and get back to that defense. Woo! That defense the Knicks were playing. Where's that been all season? Like, they've had good moments, but a complete game like that, they faded off as far as intensity in the second half, but not to the point where it was like, we're going to let the Cavs back in the game. No, not at all. Darius Garland. You know, he smoked us the other day, 32 points. It was none of that in this game, baby. Darius Garland, he had a tough night. Not at all the same type of night. Mobley, he went 5 of 10, I believe. He had 10 points of the night. Didn't shut him down, but also only limited him to 10 shots. Pretty efficient on those 10 shots, but you know, he only had 10 points, 10 rebounds. This is a double-double, but it wasn't an effective or it wasn't a huge impact from his double-double. You know, if that's the sort of impact that he's going to have for the rest of the series, I can live with that. And even Donovan Mitchell, you know, 22 points on the night. Yes, it's 22 points, which is, you know, significant, but for a guy like Donovan Mitchell, like, that's a pretty good night, all right? This guy can easily go off for 40. We've seen him go off for 50 points and more before. So we hold him to 22 points and 2 of 8 shooting from 3. I mean, come on. I'll take that every time. And then Allen, you know, he's pretty much a non-factor. I'm not so much worried about how we stopped him scoring because he's not necessarily a big scorer for the Cavaliers, but what we were able to do as far as keeping him off the glass, limiting him to single-digit rebounds, I believe 5 or 6 rebounds on the night. And we overall, we win the rebound battle in that game last night. And it's just like, woo, I love to see it. I love to see it. So much good coming from this game. So much good coming from that defensive performance. And it's just like, man, you see, it's what infuriates me also with the Knicks, because it's like you see them play a game like that and you're like, you know what? Who's to say that they can't go even further than just beyond the Cavs and possibly go into, you know, a conference championship, maybe a final? Getting ahead of myself, reel it back in, because we don't really think it's going to happen, all right? At the end of the day, we don't really think it's going to happen. But when they play like that, they do say defense wins championships. I got to reel it back in. I'm sorry. You can't help me, but I can't help but to get excited and start thinking about all the possibilities. I'm not saying championship. But this just makes it'll make it a lot harder to swallow post if we don't end up beating the Cavs, because it's like, yes, last game they came out and they looked like a much better team than we did, but in this game we look like the much better team. We blow them out by a little bit more, a nice 20-point victory, and it's like, come on, just play good all the time, you know? Don't wait until the Cavs beat up on us for us to respond in a manner like this. Let's just come out with this energy every night. Anyways, besides the point, let's go on ahead and get back to what I do best and focus on places where we should be worried. And number one place I'm going to say is Julius Randle. Another quiet night for him last night. It's been not the best of series. He's been able to put up points, but he's putting up these points on a lot of shots. And it's not even like 30-point outputs or anything like that. You know, low 20 scoring. Last night kind of took a turn for the worse. Randle, 3 of 15 from the field, 2 of 10 from 3-point. He only had 11 points on the night. It's a tough shooting night. You could look at it 2 different ways. It's one, Julius isn't doing that good, and yet we're still finding a way to win. Or it's 2, Julius is not doing good. Maybe we can get past the Cavs with him playing in this manner, but he's going to have to switch it up if we want to make it, you know, past the second round and into a conference finals or anything like that. But at the end of the day, on the series, 18 of 55 from the field, about 33%, 8 of 27 from 3. I mean, under 30% from the 3-point line. It's like, we need Julius Randle, you know. I'll say good about Julius, I'll say bad about Julius, but one thing I'll never, you know, falter on or sway from is the notion that as Julius goes, we will go. You know, we might find a way to win if he's not having a good game, but if he's going to be this ineffective and, you know, we advance into that next round and we're going against a Boston, we're going against a Milwaukee, or we're going against even the Sixers, you know, I don't think, you know, there's much hope for us if, you know, our first or second best player is having off nights or an off series like this. We're not going to be able to survive much longer. I don't even know if we'll survive many more games in this series if, you know, Julius doesn't turn it on. You know, it was kind of the situation with RJ, and RJ was having a bad series in those first 2 games from the field, and last night he turns it on. Hopefully, you know, he can keep that going, but he can keep that going, and then Julius also turns it on, and then Brunson, we don't have to worry about Brunson. I mean, not jinx it, knock on wood, but Brunson, he's been kind of a steady Eddie for us, shooting, about average from the field, but making those plays when we need him most. But Julius, we absolutely need this man to get back on track. I'm going to go ahead and attribute some of it to him being out those last 2 weeks of the season and still trying to, find his groove. Because, again, we don't know just exactly how healthy that sprained ankle is. He did take the time off from it. He may not be 100% just yet, and he may not necessarily be in basketball shape, and he's just kind of trying to figure it all out while staying on the floor, because at the end of the day, he's going to have that mentality. I'm one of the better players for my team. I need to be there for them. I need to be scoring points. I need to be helping out in any way they can. Granted, it's not working so far, but hopefully that comes sooner than later. We'll need him in this series, I feel like. And if we get past the Cavaliers, we're absolutely going to need him against whoever we face in that next round. What I will say that I did like, though, he did take 15 shots, which is still kind of a lot, especially when you're only making 3 out of those 15 shots. But eventually he realizes, it's not quite my night shooting the ball, and he becomes a more willing passer as opposed to trying to force things and, put up shots that aren't going to drop. I appreciate that. But again, I'd much rather prefer the Julius Randle who's effective, who's going to the bucket, who's hitting those 3-point shots at a high percentage, and not this 20% from the field Julius that we've been getting. I don't know when it's going to turn, but hopefully it turns. Hopefully the ankle just keeps getting stronger and stronger, better and better for him, and we can go back to seeing the Julius that we're accustomed to. But keeping it moving, quick and hard. 2 guys in the last game who struggled mightily as well, and it just goes to show how important the bench is for your team. I would say absolutely the Knicks bench is better than the Cavaliers bench. I might give the Cavaliers an edge as far as their starting 5 unit, but that Knicks bench absolutely carries us, especially when it's second unit against second unit. Quickly, only 11 points. It's not a ton at all, but plus 27 on the night as far as plus minus, plus 27, and those 11 points coming throughout the game in pivotal moments where the Knicks might have needed basket. I'll mention that as well. Just last night, a lot of times the Cavs were trying to mount some sort of a comeback, and they chip into that lead a little bit, but Knicks didn't waver. They just kept finding ways to score as well, get stops, and keep that lead the entire duration. Well, they trailed a little bit in the first quarter, but after that, kept the lead the entirety of the remainder of the game. Quickly, again, a bunch of key baskets during those times where, the Cavaliers were looking to mount some sort of comeback, getting those clutch buckets for us. And plus 27, it's not always going to show up in the stat sheet, but that plus minus will let you know that you're on the floor and you're making a difference for your team, a positive impact on the game with all the other things. A lot of hustle from my guy Quick. We'll get into him getting, I won't say snubbed because it's not like Brogdon didn't deserve it, but we'll get into him not getting 6th man of the year in a little bit. My guy Hart, heart of the team, I might say. The energy, the motor, the relentlessness that this man plays with. I hope he is a Knick for a long time to come. This man is going out there, busted ankle as well, but I don't know. What a difference a day makes, right? From that last game onto this game, it's like 2 completely separate players. He had the worst plus minus that he's had ever since coming to the Knicks in that last game, and he comes back out here plus 13 on the night, 13 points again, nothing crazy, but 13 points, 6 rebounds. It's like, yes, give it to me. Clutch plays, 2 steals on the night as well. The energy always there, being relentless on that defensive end with ball denial on Donovan Mitchell. Him, Grimes. I almost forgot that Grimes got injured. Gonna cross my fingers. Haven't seen anything as far as the severity of that injury. But him, Grimes, and Quickly just playing ball denial, which is part of the reason why, Donovan Mitchell was limited to only the 22 points, because even though when he did get the ball, he was fairly efficient, at least inside of that 3-point line. He was real efficient. I think he's 7 of 11 inside of the 3-point line. But it's more than just what you do to stop him with the ball in his hand. It's also about preventing him from ever touching the ball and kind of just taking him out the flow of the game and never letting him find some sort of rhythm. And man, those 3 combined to do such a great job on it last night, as well as whoever else they were playing defense on, and just the team defense that they were playing. But Josh Hart, love to see him looking like himself, giving that effort again, making plays for us on both ends of the floor. And it's just like, we get clicking like this, where Quick is contributing, Hart is contributing, X Factor RJ Barrett is contributing, and Brunson came on late, second half. He became a leading scorer for us. But those 19 points that we got from RJ Barrett, masterpiece. Needed all 19 of those points, obviously. Well, technically we didn't, since we won by 20. Got to throw that in there. But yes, we did need all 19 of those points, because when we were slumping in that first half, it was all RJ. But the team effort on defense, on making sure we didn't have another snoozer like we did in that last game, love to see it. I'm feeling good, I'm back to Knicks in 6, baby. It rhymes, so it's got to be true, right? Knicks in 6. And again, Grimes injured his shoulder, left the game in that first half, did not come back. Haven't seen anything so far as the severity of the injury. That's a big piece for us. He plays a lot of really good defense for us. He scores in spurts. He ended the season really strongly. I was a little bit disappointed that he hasn't necessarily had a big scoring output so far. But he does, put up 1 or 2 clutch 3-point shots in the game for us that keeps us, in the league, keeps us, within whatever amount of points that we need. He gives us clutch buckets on numerous occasions, so we're going to be missing that. But again, mostly on that defensive end, him being one of the main guys on Donovan Mitchell and slowing him down, and just trying not to let Mitchell take over a game and get us in trouble. That's definitely going to be missed. Hopefully it's nothing serious. He can play in that next game. But again, we'll have to wait and see. Next game is going to be on Sunday. We're at the Garden still. I'm hoping that, it's going to be loud and it's going to be the same atmosphere that it was last night, because I feel like maybe it did make, some sort of difference for the home team. Man, they showed out last night, boy, at the Garden. Listen, I'm a little on the post side of things, so I couldn't afford to be up in there. But man, oh man, I wish I was up in there. Last thing before I let you guys go, I'm not mad that Quickly didn't win Sixth Man of the Year. I feel like it was neck and neck. A lot of people, there'll be numerous reasons as to why Quickly didn't get it. People are gonna say, well, most of his impact came when he started, so now it's like all of a sudden starting games is, a strike against you. I don't know, whatever. If that's what you want to say, that's what you want to say. But what I can, I guess, deal with, or what I understand more, is that Brogdon, he's kind of been steady Eddie all season with his level of output and what he's been doing for the Celtics, whereas Quickly kind of struggled in the first half of the season, and towards that second half of the season when he really turned it on and he really started making a name for himself and really started capturing the heart of Knicks fans. I can understand it, consistency versus splash plays, and a full season of what Brogdon is doing. I guess you can make that argument is better than the half a season of what Quickly did. Of course, I would retort that, once Quickly got started, that's when the Knicks kind of turned their season around, and I would say, his impact is much better. I saw a lot of stats that would actually back that opinion, that his impact was much bigger than what Brogdon was doing, because in games that Brogdon missed, the Celtics didn't necessarily miss a beat, but in games where Quickly didn't perform well, and in a few games that Quickly didn't play, it was a much different Knicks team. They struggled a little bit more. That second unit obviously was not the same, because Quickly, first man in that second unit, the lead guy in that second unit, so Quickly's impact might have been more. But again, not necessarily mad at it. I can say they kind of snubbed our guy, but at the end of the day, we know what we got in Quickly, and I prefer, hands down, if we need to sacrifice a Sixth Man of the Year and we face Boston in the next round or whatever the case may be, and we beat them, you take that Sixth Man. I'll take that victory every time. But I'm talking hypotheticals here. Quick, you may not have gotten the hardware, but man, you are loved in New York. Believe that for sure. And on that note, I'm going to let you guys go. Thanks for tuning in. Please subscribe, comment, all the good stuff. But we'll be back Sunday again. Knicks facing off against the Cavaliers at the Garden for Game 4. Hopefully we get another W. Crossing the fingers on that. But we'll see you then. Peace.